Judge James Romm relative obscurity as the first justice to come under fire from Donald Trump since he took office. In one of his trademark late-night tweets, Trump called the 69-year-old Robart a so-called judge whose ridiculous opinion temporarily lifting the president's immigration ban essentially takes law enforcement away from our country. To those who know Robart, who has been on the federal bench in Seattle for more than a decade after his appointment by another Republican, President George W. Bush, the ensuing drama surrounding the move was a far cry from the judge's standard. "He is relatively apolitical," said Douglas Adkins, a private equity investor and former investment banker who has known Robart since childhood. "He's not a conservative or a liberal. He's a man interested in the law and fairness." Late on Friday, Robart grabbed national headlines with his decision to temporarily lift Trump's week-old travel ban for citizens of 7 mainly Muslim countries and refugees. His ruling was just a first step in considering the merits of the case challenging the ban. The Justice Department on Saturday filed a formal notice that it intends to appeal the ruling. As a candidate, Trump had criticized federal Judge Gonzalo Curiel, who was overseeing a case against his Trump University, arguing Curiel could not be impartial because of his Mexican heritage and Trump's vow to crack down on Mexican immigrants. But by lashing as president, Trump's anti-judiciary stance takes on new importance. It hits at the very heart of the checks and balances system meant to protect the country from government abuse of power. Coincidentally, in his wide-reaching ruling on Friday, Robart emphasized that the 3 branches of government, the executive, Congress, and the judiciary, should function as equals. The work of the judiciary, and this court, is limited to ensuring that the actions taken by the other 2 branches comport with our country's laws, and more importantly, our Constitution, Robart wrote. Reached by email, Robart declined to comment on Trump's tweets. A graduate of Whitman College in Walla Walla, Washington, and Georgetown University Law Center, Robart spent 30 years in private practice at the law firm now known as Lane Powell, before being appointed to the bench by Bush in 2004. Adkins said Robart and his wife have no children but have been foster parents to several immigrant children over the years, primarily from Southeast Asia. Robart could not be reached for comment. The judge served in the past as the president of the Seattle Children's Home and was a former trustee of the Children's Home Society of Washington, according to his official biography on the federal court website. Those organizations provide mental health services for at-risk youth and help troubled families. His involvement with children may have helped contribute to his understanding of the people impacted by this ruling but would not have shaped his interpretation of the rule of law, said Paul Lawrence, who was one of the attorneys who filed an amicus brief backing Washington state in the immigration case. During his confirmation hearing, Robart recalled providing pro bono legal services early in his career to people who in many times felt that the legal system was stacked against them. He said he learned that the law could be, if properly used, an opportunity for them to seek redress if they had been wronged, according to a transcript of the testimony. Often sporting bow ties with his black robes, Robart is known for saying from the bench in 2016 that Black Lives Matter. He cited the statement popularized by protesters during a hearing about a 2012 consent decree with the federal government that required the Seattle Police Department to address allegations of bias and excessive force. In 2011, Robart put a temporary hold on a state rule change that would have cut government funding for disabled children and families in Washington. When faced with a conflict between the financial and budgetary concerns and the preventable human suffering, Robart wrote in that opinion, the balance of hardships tips in the favor of preventing human suffering. Adkins said he thought his friend would be able to take Trump's attacks in stride. His view is that criticism is important, said Adkins.
This morning, I want to tell you a message that is a potential crisis for all immigrants. Came to this country 1984. This is a great country for you to make a new life and prosper, get educated like I did. I knew right away when I got here to not take this country for granted. So what do? First I got my green card, and immediately as soon as I had it for 5 years, and that was the requirement, I became a citizen. As a citizen, I was able to vote. I was able to vote as a black man for a black president twice. And I voted for a female to be president. That's a powerful right. Now, I speak to all immigrants who have been here and not take the time to think about what it means to be a citizen of this country. I know many immigrants who I talk to have this idea that if you become an American citizen, you're turning your back on your home country. Well, I'm here to tell you that, especially if you've been here for over 5 years, you're now assimilating in this country. You should have a voice in this country. You have the right to give up that citizenship and go back to your home country whenever you feel like. But for you to be staying here in this country, not able to vote, not having the benefits of citizenship, for you to turn your back on that with the idea that if you were to become a citizen, somehow you're turning your back on your home country. That is false. Where you were born, you're always a citizen there. It's your home country. You carry that inside your heart, and when you're ready to go live there, you go back, give up your American citizenship. But while you're here, be a citizen here. Now, I was on a plane yesterday, coming from Jamaica. Sat next to someone heartbroken. He went to Jamaica for a funeral. His brother, 42 years old, lived in this country pretty much all his life. He has 4 kids. He had some misdemeanors, he told me, a few issues with the law, got deported. Now he's from a military family with a green card. Brothers in the military family. He got deported to Jamaica. Within 2 years, was shot and killed. He went back to Jamaica trying to re-assimilate himself. Wasn't prepared for that. What's the problem with that? Not only did he lose his life, but now he has 4 kids, fatherless, in the United States. Thank God those kids are citizens. Even his kids would be eligible for citizenship in Jamaica because their parents are Jamaican. So for everyone out there right now, you're in this country, regardless of which country you're from, you need to get your citizenship right away. It's smart. You want to start a business, you want to get a loan, there's so many rights afforded you as a citizen. You give up on those rights sitting in this country with this idea that, oh, I don't need to be a citizen. You're wrong. Donald Trump is going to show that to you. You're going to find yourself kicked out of this country, accused of whatever. I don't even think you're going to get due process. You need to wake up, become a citizen today. Go file for your citizenship. Get your citizenship. Have the right to be in this country and participate. And if you want to go back home to your home country, you give it up when that time is right. Otherwise, you're going to be kicked out. And as much as I would feel bad for you, I feel worse for your children who won't have their parents here in this country and who may, like this other guy, go back to a home country trying to make it. Next thing you know, you don't know your way around, you get into the wrong things, and you end up dying. Go get your citizenship. I did that, one of the smart decisions I made, and today I'm highly successful. I am a citizen, all the full rights. It's beautiful when I go overseas and I come back in and I'm treated with the full rights of a citizen. You gotta listen, this is an important message for you.
Here, take your sign. Get up. Come on here. Come on.
In case you're unaware of it, it's a video of a woman tormenting her kid because in his school vote, his little school election, he voted for Trump. A kid who knows nothing about politics, makes their own choice, and the mother, who perhaps is a screw loose, decides to torment her own flesh and blood for the sake of her politics?
Since you voted for Donald Trump, you can get your shit and get out. The suitcase is packed by the door. Yeah, been packed it since this morning. Bye. Matter of fact, and get your sign so when the people see you outside, they know why you're standing out there. Anyways, yep, you see him on TV. Well, I hope you find another TV to see him on, because this is going to be your new home. You can't come back here. Bye. No. He voted for Donald Trump. No. Bye. Bye. You can go be with the Donald Trump lover. Bye.
It's worth watching the full video, because this kind of bullshit is just so nonsensical. Who in their right mind would do that? Do it to a kid? Because you're annoyed with the kid picking the wrong team? It's bullshit.